of weeks ago, with around 600 arrests made and 150 charges against people as young as 11. Now we're just sort of waiting for Tommy to get back off his jolly sometime before next month so he can go in front of another judge and we can add another contempt of court charge to our tally. But we're not done. No, we're not done yet. See, everything up until now was just laying the foundation. An amuse-bouche, if you will. If you're a fan of Tommy Robinson watching this video, and you still think that, despite what we've uncovered here, he's still not that bad of a guy, this is the part where you need to put on your brown trousers and strap in. If there's one thing that becomes clear in Tommy's history, it's that he is definitely, principally opposed to nonces. Can't stand them. The abuse of women and children in Tommy's eyes is a moral abomination and should never be tolerated at all. If there's one thing we know for sure, it's that Tommy would never stand alongside such people. It's not Muslims he hates, after all. It's criminals that coerce and intimidate vulnerable women and children to exploit them.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
In June of 2010, back when Tommy was top shag of the EDL, his close friend Richard Price was convicted of possessing crack cocaine, and 4 indecent images of children that he downloaded from the onlines. Tommy, displaying his opposition to noncery, condemned Price when he admitted to 4 counts of making indecent images of children. Oh wait, sorry, Tommy campaigned with other EDL members to win justice for Richard Price. He supported him even after he admitted that he was charged with creating the images. He has a post from the EDL at the time telling everyone that it was because he bought a second-hand computer. It wasn't, and that, also, the images weren't even that bad. As time went on and Tommy's position became untenable, he finally distanced himself because supporting nonces is wrong?
Correct.
Oh, thanks.
Now look, I know what you're saying, and I agree. It was a one-off, a glitch in the Matrix. If the EDL was actually rife with criminals, druggies, and rapists, that means they'd be no different to the people they purport to stand against. Just 2 sides of the same coin, and there's no way that could be the case. Is there? In 2018, senior EDL member Lee McMillan was jailed for 17 years for grooming a 10-year-old girl in the mid-90s. He would buy her cigarettes and alcohol, then assault her. His victim reports that he would tell her that she mustn't tell her mum because she'd be really upset. He assaulted her approximately 100 times over 5 years. That's not all either. On screen now is a list of EDL members and their splinter organisations that have been exposed as being sex offenders. Now, I would love to also show you instances of Tommy condemning these people and saying that there's no place for them in the EDL, but there isn't one. Tommy hasn't so much as whispered their names. That's 66 extra examples for those of you that can be asked to go through and look up the individual examples. If you want more, here's an article from Hope Not Hate that gives similar evidence, a not insubstantial amount of it coming from when Tommy was the leader of the EDL. If you are a supporter of Thomas Robinson, doesn't it feel weird that he's not even willing to post a single tweet to condemn these people? Doesn't it seem weird that he didn't, at any point, introduce basic checks before allowing people to join the EDL? Doesn't it feel weird that he only seems to have an issue with it when it's an immigrant? Okay, I get it. You can cherry-pick 68 examples of convicted abusers being linked to Tommy's organisations, but Tommy's a good bloke and I'll still donate to him. Which reminds me, fundraising. You remember that journalist we spoke about earlier? Lizzie Dearden? The one he tried to intimidate into doing what he wanted her to do in a way not at all dissimilar to the people that he supposedly stands against? Well, she released the article that she was writing. In it, she explains that despite the fact that he had declared himself bankrupt and was listed on the insolvency register, he was receiving hundreds of thousands of pounds a month from his supporters in donations. He was receiving donations after being jailed for contempt of court, despite the fact that his legal defence was already being funded by a group called the Middle East Forum. One of Robinson's former employees explains that money due to cover expenses for their activism never materialised, and that Tommy was withdrawing tens of thousands of pounds that he says were for mates I've got to pay back for seshes. So, cocaine then. Coke. The devil's dandruff. Mary Berry's baking powder. Sniff, Blow, Charlie, Booger Sugar, Forrest Bump, Frosty the Blowman, High Speed Chicken Feed, you know the stuff. Turns out that, according to multiple former employees, Tommy was a bit of a fiend for the white stuff. I mean, this certainly explains why he looks like he's just had Shamu in a headlock in this interview with Jordan Peterson. Oh, shit. The fucking Jordan Peterson interview. I haven't even gotten to that bit yet. Oh, fucking hell. Okay, we'll get to it in a second. Hang on. Look. Okay, anyway, yeah. So, former employees say that they were either delayed payments for several months or not remunerated at all. This is all while Tommy would go out, get shit-faced, apparently to the tune of 33 grand kind of shit-faced, and brag about being fucking loaded and making mad money. I mean, it certainly explains how he funds his Stone Island fetish, the chavvy little cunt. Despite the fact that he's apparently more than happy to brag about how much money he earns when he's pissed up, this attitude doesn't extend to the courts. He appeared at the Royal Courts of Justice and told them that he had spunked the money being donated to him on drinking, alcohol, and partying. Partying means drugs, by the way. He'd spent £100,000 on gambling in casinos and online, and he still owed £300,000 to a businessman by the name of Christopher Johnson. When it was raised that, in his 2009 book Enemy of the State, he said that he owned 7 properties, he replied saying, "I like to give off that I'm a successful man when I am not." So, he's willing to continuously repeat this lie, even as recently as last month, but whenever he's called on to actually pay for something, it's all very complicated, and he doesn't actually own shit all. It's very convenient, isn't it? It suddenly becomes Schrodinger's bank account when he needs to pay for something other than cocaine and 5-star holidays to fucking Cyprus. Alright, okay, I said we'd get to it, but this really needs to be the last thing, because fucking hell, the last thing I need to do is watch Pinky and the fucking Brain over here talking about how the FBI killed JFK and fucking Hitler built the pyramids. So one of the stops Tommy made before he comes back to the UK and is inevitably put in jail again was to go to Canada and visit a man called Dr. Gordon V. Tieterson, or something. It's called Why the Establishment Hates This Man. It's episode 462 of Norman's podcast, and it seems to be pretty well hidden by YouTube, so go do some digging if it interests you. I'm going to dedicate this portion of the video just to plucking out a couple of the key points from this almost 2-hour-long interview. It will by no means be comprehensive, but play along and we'll try and square what they are saying with what we've already uncovered throughout the video.
And my wife, who's going to join the discussion, she had something to do with this. Tammy and I have been following Tommy for quite a long time. Years, really. Probably 9 years, maybe longer than that.
Okay, so 40 seconds in, and I just want you to bear this in mind. Mormon says that he and his wife Tammy have been following Tommy Robinson for years. 9 years at that. Apparently, this master of the human psyche hasn't, in any of those years, decided to ever Google and read any singular article that criticizes Tommy. It becomes painfully obvious by the lack of pushback on anything at all that they know the square root of fuck all about him. But it's just interesting that he chooses to frame this interview as him being very aware of his life in any meaningful way. He's either bullshitting or a coward.
His school records show 117 disciplinaries. His school records show that the teacher...
He meant he didn't like to break them 150.
150 times. Mm-hmm. But the public were totally deceived on this. And they donated £180,000 to this child, yeah?
Yeah.
And at the same time as this, the English boy was portrayed as a racist bully.
Okay, so here we have Tommy talking about the Syrian boy that sued him. Tommy says that the boy doesn't deserve to be treated as somebody that is telling the truth because he's been accused of lying before. He's been accused of threatening to assault people before. He says that he was deceptive to the British public and that the public were deceived into donating money to him. This is apparently grounds enough for the boy to never be taken seriously. Tommy doesn't, at any point, seem to clock that he himself has been accused of lying. There is objective evidence that he has assaulted people. There is evidence of him threatening to assault people. He has also asked for donations from the British public with all of these instances on record. And he has also admitted to spending north of £100,000 in donations on gambling, drinking and partying, which again means drugs, by the way. Even if this Jamal guy is a complete cunt, and even if all of these accounts are true, that barely scrapes equal to the kinds of things Tommy has been proven to have done. Never mind.
Full video below, people. And remember, they're all grifting scumbags. And anyone who follows them is a fucking scumbag themselves. Cheers.